than just corn.
All right. I'll also need to step away at 7:30, so in like 5 minutes,
Okay.
because I'm the alarm clock for everyone else.
Okay. All right. Um, so you know, for let me get this share screen going. Okay. So for standard 9 when we're doing operations and management, and when I look through the both the guiding questions for the different elements, it's kind of hard to grade myself just because these are some of the things are done without our control because of the sort of the separation of how basis does things from an academic standpoint and an operational standpoint. So for instance, like the budgeting and financial planning, like the artifacts that I have for here. So like I did an operating budget with cuts, but a lot of what I put in here was sort of guesstimations about like what our expat pay looks. Can you see these by the way? I forgot to
Yes,
ask.
I could see.
All right. So it's sort of just like a guesstimation of like what revenue comes in based on tuition and fees, and then like where we would spend our money. Um, so like for the module that did this, I talked to Aaron, I talked to Andy, and I was able to kind of get some like some ideas of like where money goes on the operating side. But for instance, like this one is kind of hard because it's like we're reducing uh, um where we would reduce budgets, and I was thinking of trying to reduce like contractors and utilities, and the big one was food service costs, of like trying not to waste food. So try to find areas that would be more efficient without like kind of like wasting, and make things save money. But I have no idea on like where like how that actually is feasible, just because I don't know what those exact numbers are. So like, but one of the artifacts here, and we've talked about this before, was like the master scheduling, and so that kind of goes into the first one where we do talk about scheduling. But I think like one of the kind of awesome things that I was able to do this year was, and this is just a snapshot, but like what we did for the AP schedule this year. And so for you allowing me to kind of work on that and collaborate with you to make sure that we gave teachers the appropriate amount of classes for APs. So that was the one major artifact that I have for this one. And then just to go back, so we have scheduling, management of resources, um, and then like so again, managing and improving technology. That's also not like an area that like we have control over, mainly because like basis, we have like Power School, we have Grade Cam, we have Teams, but those are things that basis as a school network decides those are the software packages we're going to have, right? Yeah. So we can't sort of unilaterally say, oh, we're just going to use another package because we find it to be better.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So for standard 9, it is a little hard to sort of go through all these artifacts. Like there's things that like might be useful as far as like how we recruit and retain teachers. So like I have like the timeline here of like how you would do this and sort of so we talked about this as well. Um for I forget what standard it was, but like what it would look like from basically um getting out the notice of like where there's an opening for the recruitment at our campus, and then how we might go about like um doing that. As far as like I know we do some of those student, or not student, but we do some of those career fairs. um like I went through a headhunter, so I know there's like third parties that kind of contact basis and work with basis. Um, and I know that we have like our sort of like on the BG Cloud, we have our way of tracking who we're talking to and at what step they're at as far as the process of being hired. So, but it's 7:30, so I'm gonna stop sharing right now, or stop recording, and then I'll
Okay,
let you go do the alarm clock.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Thanks for noticing.
So yeah, that's as far as like when it comes to standard nine, like with operations. I think like we're one of those kind of interesting schools where academics and operations are completely separated. Like I remember when we first did the budget for module 35, and the instructor was she was like, don't forget, you have to remember like account for like toilet paper and soap and paper towels for the year. And it's like, wow, that's one of the things, like as a head of division or head of school, probably something that's never going to be a thought that you have.
Oop, never thought about it.
But in operation meetings though, like is that something where there is some sort of collaboration as far as like what we spend on like at the department level? Because I know like we each have a budget that we go through, and I think social studies we went under budget this year. So, but is there that sort of collaborative process between academics and operations?
Not really.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. I mean, purchasing is on the operations side, and they tell us how much money we have, but that's
Okay.
about it. Like
Okay.
I, even in the operations meeting, I was trying to think because they make reports about what they're doing, but I don't think I've ever heard them talk about like overall budget. I've heard them talk about specific costs of like, oh, we ordered 15 trees and we negotiated this price with the contractor. And so like I know individual items sometimes, but the overall budget is never really discussed.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think like so looking at through the standard, and then the different elements, so like the master scheduling, also the leadership scheduling, and that was just something where it's like we've gone through this before as well, is like how we kind of like plan out the year. And I know that as we got towards the end of the year with our chair meetings, that we had like that full academic calendar for next, or for this upcoming year. And so there's already things that are sort of scheduled out, or things that we could add. And kind of going back to our last discussion with the priority four, like there's already things that we are going to do, but how we can kind of reprioritize them. um so those are things that are in our control as far as like standard nine and what we can do. And then so I don't know if you had any general comments or questions about anything for standard nine that you'd want to talk about.
For the leadership scheduling, did you go into the event calendar, like that overall one that we talked about in the chair meeting? Did you go in and target some of those things and where good meetings would be for those?
Um, so as far as like planning it out through each month, knowing where there's spaces that could be put in. So for instance, like, there's two areas now. One is making sure that we as a department for social studies can find a place to hold an event. So that will be something that we talk about during the on-site training. And then the other one was there's a guy from ISA who is he knows Slav very well, and he wants to do some sort of like history slash geography competition. And so we're in a group now for WeChat to have that competition, and ISA said that they would like to host it. But that would be something to put on the calendar to make sure that we have a team. I think Tyson is the only student I can think of that's very into those geography and history competitions. So I think we have at least one person that's willing to compete.
Yeah, but we also have Kyle. Kyle used to win all those national ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he looking at that for just like ISA will host and judge and everything, or is he bringing in an outside organization like ASDAN to run it?
So it's a national level competition, but I don't think it's so I think it is a third party, but I don't think it's ASDAN. But yeah, so they would host it, and then it would be an official competition through that third party. And they want to, but now is trying to find a good time because everyone has a different Chinese New Year schedule, and that would be the sort of the 2 to 3 week period that we could do it. So now it's just trying to find that time and then kind of putting it on our calendar as well. So yeah. And then so I'll stop